Caloroga Shark Media.
Hey, Johnny Mac, poolside again with your daily comedy news. We've got landscapers and birds for you. Spoilers for Eminem's new video, Houdini. Some comedians appear in it, so if you don't want to be spoiled about Eminem's new video, you might want to skip ahead. All right, here come the spoilers. The song is called Houdini. That's not a spoiler, but who's in it? Shane Gillis and Pete Davidson. The music video, like the song, is a throwback to Eminem's 2002 hit Without Me. The new song reprises the Guess Who's Back intro to the song. Eminem and Dr. Dre return to their superhero characters from the first film. Pete Davidson shows up towards the end of the video and takes over Shady's driver and says, "Trust me, I'm a great driver. Don't worry, I just got my license back." That is an allusion to Pete's 2023 reckless driving charge. Shane Gillis also in the video. It is unclear to me what Shane Gillis does in the video. Bill Maher got into it with CNN's Freed Zakaria. Bill Maher denies that he has changed. Maher says, "People have said to me, you made fun of the left more than you used to, and guilty, I have, because the left has changed." Maher says he believes the Republican Party is even worse than the Democratic Party, saying the right doesn't believe in democracy anymore. They've thrown their lot in with a sociopath named, you know who, I'm not here to upset people, who only thinks elections count when we win. Maher said, but it's not like the left hasn't changed also, so I'm going to call it out whenever I see it. He specified the issues of gender, race, and free speech. It's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid. The last chapter in the book is called Civil War, and you hear more about it all the time. People are actually pining for it. It can't work. It won't work. Half the country's not going to self-deport even if you win every election. I'm just trying to do a comedy podcast poolside. I don't want to discuss a potential civil war today. That's not why we're here. More from Nick Swardson in the LA Times on his current tour. I talk about the same topics I usually do, but I'm trying to stay away from certain things. No, not politics. He says, I don't party like I used to. I don't drink like I used to, so I want to get away from that image where people think I'm some lunatic. I don't do drugs. I mean, I did edibles in Colorado and then ended up on the effing news. That one time, there's like so many horrific things going on in the world, and they decided to put me on blast for getting too high in Colorado. I took an edible, which is my fault and was stupid. But on my new act, I have a diarrhea joke, of course. I talked about Norm Macdonald, and I talked about a bunch of true stories. It's just silly. My act is a good time. It's not political. I don't have an agenda. I'm exactly how I am on stage as I am off stage, and people always mention that it's just like a real show, and it's just fun and silly, and it's like, let's have a good time, man. Life is too short. Swardson says he always finds it weird when Gen Z fans have seen his own material. I'm always shocked when I meet people in their 20s, and they're like, we love Reno 911, and I'm like, how do you even know about that? I always tell young actors and comedians, you got to commit 110% to what you're doing on stage and on camera. You have to be willing to completely lose your mind. Like when you watch guys like Will Ferrell and he's running around streaking in old school showing his butt. When I did the movie Bucky Larson, I was naked. I did A Haunted House. I was naked in that too. Whether it was Blades of Glory or The Benchwarmers and all those movies, I got crazy and had to commit to it. I feel you. Like say you decide to record your podcast outside, a crazy idea to begin with, and the landscapers are just going to blow leaves around. You're committed now. Adam Ray will have a new special on June 16th, which is his birthday. It's his third special. This one called Like and Subscribe. It'll debut on YouTube and be on video on demand on June 18th. The new hour covers everything from awkward flight to his rapper brother-in-law, Disneyland etiquette, and his childhood dream. The 800-pound gorilla spoke to Reggie Watts when Reggie was at the recent Netflix festival. They asked him, does performing at a festival change your performance at all? Are there advantages, disadvantages? Reggie said, I don't think there are advantages or disadvantages. I think for me, I'm an improviser. So for me, festivals are great because there's a lot to comment on, the layout of it and so forth. So I enjoy that a lot. I don't really change anything other than to reflect the environment that I'm performing in. The gorilla asked him about his recent special. As an improviser, what's the process like? Do you mix in some prepared stuff? How do you prepare for a special as an improviser? Reggie said, I don't really plan it. I know the date I'm supposed to show up, and I have a concept for it. I might have an intro and outro for a bit. It's really I have an idea of what I'd like the feel of it to be aesthetically, and then work with the production team to make that happen. And then I just kind of show up and go for it. If I wanted to, I could probably release 3 specials a year. Well, no, then they wouldn't be specials. You'd be putting out 3 hours a year. Should we have that debate again? Now let's move on. You know, it's a little light for Monday. I might have to run towards the Joe Coy bit just to pad this thing 30 seconds. Reggie said, or I could do a special every week for marketing terms. And you know how much money's put into a special? You have to market to everyone. You have to market so everyone can make their money back and all that stuff. But for me, it doesn't really matter frequency or preparedness. I'll do specials all day long. Good question here. Is Reggie playing more comedy venues or music venues? I mean, not that that's like the most amazing question, but I like the answer. Reggie Watts says, I was kind of doing what I was doing at jam nights in Seattle in the 90s a little bit, like in between sets if I was improvising with a band and we were playing all night. That was a little more formal, I suppose, but I guess I started actually doing comedy when I moved to New York. You had like UCB Theater and the Pit and other weird small venues and nightclubs that did comedy nights. And then eventually, sometimes I'd play the Comic Strip or Caroline's, but not very often. I love playing those clubs because they didn't know what's going on. Reggie, yeah, it's the absolute best. But a lot of times, I like playing the weird underground places. If you would like this program commercial free, there's a link in the show notes. It says caloroga.supportingcast.fm. What you do is you click on that, and then it'll bring you to this website, etc. Long story short, $4.99 a month. You can get these episodes ad-free on whatever platform you want. We figured this thing out. You want to use Spotify? Go ahead. You want to use podcast? Go ahead. You want it at 3:05 a.m.? You don't have to wait for Johnny Mac to get up and load the thing. Solve that too. caloroga.supportingcast.fm. Lot to remember. You're probably on the subway or driving a car. You don't have time to write that down. It's in the show notes. Thank you in advance. Vulture hooks up the Slow News Day with an article. 3 new comedy specials you should definitely watch. Okay, let's see what this says. No, I really like their premise here. They write, upward of 150 stand-up specials released in 2023. Well, that's a lot. These days, if a comedian can't get one of the cable or streaming networks to buy their special, they can self-produce and release it alongside one of the hundreds of other specials on YouTube. As such, every month this column will suggest a few specials worth watching. Yeah, I mean, there's just no way to keep up unless this is all you do. All right, they have nominated Ali Siddiq's Domino Effect Part 3 on YouTube. I've not seen this one. Vulture tells us Ali Siddiq, the landscaper stopped. It seems so quiet now. Ali Siddiq is in the middle of the most ambitious project in the history of stand-up, a 4-part series about how he was raised by a drug dealer, started selling drugs himself, got arrested, and went to prison. They add in a lovely bit of direction. Siddiq's performance of this arc is backdropped by a screen that shifts from a sunny day to the sun setting to night sky over the course of 70 minutes. By the way, one downside of sitting poolside recording your podcast is the pollen. I hear my voice giving out. The next one they suggest, Nikki Glazer's Someday You'll Die. I have the unpopular opinion that that special is, whatever. I get it. I'm fighting the tide here. This one's going to win awards and everyone's going to be like, see, I told you. I get that Nikki crushed on the roast. I get she's having a moment. I watched that special and I was like, not feeling it. All right, next one. Colin Quinn, Our Time Is Up on YouTube. I didn't even know this existed. When did this come out? Vulture says, by filming his special at the Psychotherapy Networker Symposium and including interviews with therapists who diagnose Colin Quinn based on what they see in his set, Colin creates a uniquely robust watching experience. You're observing his material, but you're also observing how the therapists receive it, which in turn makes you wonder what they must think about him. Is he a truth teller of society's ills or a madman? Wow. All right, while we're here, some other ones that they have previously suggested. Alex Edelman's Just For Us on Max. I haven't gotten to that yet. Kyle Kernane's Dirt Nap. That has just an amazing chunk about the Fast and the Furious. I saw that Kyle has pulled that out as a standalone YouTube clip if you want to find that. An all-time 10, 12 minutes. Nation McIntosh is Down With Tech on YouTube. Haven't seen that yet. Christina Catherine Martinez's How to Bake a Cake in the Digital Age, also on YouTube. Boy, I got some homework to do. Natasha Vainblatt, We're All Dads Here on YouTube. And they're also highlighting Kristen Schall's 2013 Live at the Fillmore. Kristen Schall allegedly in that television show Bob's Burgers. You know what? Let me do everyone save you some trouble. I'm going to put this in the Facebook group, which is Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. Feel encouraged to join us there. The parent company of Just for Laughs has sold some assets as part of a court-directed bankruptcy protection. Quebec City's Comedy Ha, a company I have not previously heard of, announced that it had picked up unspecified assets as part of a sale and solicitation process. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers, secured creditors are owed $26.5 million in outstanding debt, possibly Canadian dollars, since that's where I'm sourcing this story from. Meanwhile, NBC Universal is rebranding its FAST channel. You know, those streaming channels. A FAST channel is like Tubi and all those. They're like linear networks. I'm using industry term. Okay, remember old-fashioned TV? You'd put it on, and what was ever was on was just on. You couldn't do anything about it. And now on streaming services like Tubi and Roku has a couple of these. And if you have a Samsung TV, there's a bunch of those channels. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that show like Knight Rider all day. Those are called FAST channels. Free ad-supported streaming television, FASST, but we drop one S because fast with one S looks cooler. I digress. There apparently was one called TNBC, T for teen. Well, no more teen NBC. It has been rebranded as NBC Comedy Vault. So you're like, oh, that's cool, right? So that probably has like The Office and Saturday Night Live, maybe some cool specials. Well, NBC Comedy Vault will initially be available on Amazon Freevee, the Roku channel, and Zumu Play. What will they be showing? And Landscapers are back. All 8 seasons of Will and Grace. And yeah, that pregnant pause was, I got to the end of the list. Wow, a whole channel showing 8 seasons of Will and Grace. I can't wait. But don't worry, they're going to add more things. They're going to add in July, Charles in Charge, Coach, and Major Dad. All right, I know you can't wait. That's really, really exciting, NBC. I'm glad you put out that presser. Carol Burnett tells The Hollywood Reporter the best advice she ever received: this too shall pass. If something isn't going well, you know it can turn on a dime and get better. That's what I always try to think, and if something's not going well, that doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. Who should play Carol Burnett in a biopic? She says Angelina Jolie. Okay, good choice. Another option she suggests, Kristen Wiig. She'd be wonderful because she could do it all. If I'm casting that movie, as much as I enjoy watching Angelina Jolie on screen, Kristen Wiig would be my choice to play Carol Burnett, and I would watch that movie. And that is your comedy news for today. I'm going to go sit out in the sun. I'm going to edit this thing later at night. See you later.